Here on Straight Talk, the topic of change has come up quite a bit. But for a lot of docs, they're dealing with it on a fairly micro level. How is this year different than last year? What does the new normal look like? They're stressed because things are different now than they were just 5 years ago. But for some docs whose careers have spanned into decades, change is just par for the course. And tonight, we'll be speaking with a master of change. For over 30 years now, he's been treating patients in the northwest suburbs of Atlanta, Georgia. But he's also the founder of Trapezio, the industry-leading platform for online training, and he even sits on the AAO Council on Technology. To share a little perspective from a macro view, we'll be chatting with Dr. Doug Depew. Buckle up, because it's time for some Straight Talk. And welcome to episode 7 of Straight Talk. My name's Tracy Martin, and I'm the founder and lead consultant at Straight Consulting. With me, as always, are my co-hosts and fellow consultants, Scott Caldwell and Janelle Baum. Guys, thanks for being here.
Hi, guys. How are you all doing today?
Hey, doing awesome. How are you, JB?
We're doing great. Things are going well, and excited for today's guest, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Heck yeah, this is going to be a good one. Here we go.
As summer vacay kicked off for you and the kids, they full run in the streets.
Oh, full run of the streets, sleepovers, sports, you name it, we're doing it.
Nice.
I love it. This has been a good week. I mean, I just got back from Georgia yesterday. Was out there seeing a client, and I am so happy to be back in offices. I can't even tell you. I feel like a whole new person.
Yeah, there's a visible spring in your step. Like it's
That's fantastic. I bet it was good to be on the plane again.
Oh man, it was great. It was great. Flight attendants need to get their lives back together, but otherwise it's great.
Yeah.
It's
It
great.
didn't hurt that you were working with a fun client though. I mean,
No.
shout out to Newell Orthodontics.
Yes.
Bill Newell and Company.
Yes, it was fantastic. Fantastic.
Oh, that's so refreshing to hear.
Well, speaking of Georgia, we can just roll right into that one. Tonight, we've got Georgia on our mind. Our guest this evening is a study in contrast. He just entered his 4th decade delivering smiles to the good people of Atlanta, but he's one of the most progressive, forward-thinking docs I know. And when he's not running his multi-location practice, this Georgia boy spends his time raising and training quarter horses. There's a reason he's a trusted voice for the AAO, and I'm continually impressed by his wisdom and insight into our industry. All the way from Depew Orthodontics in Ackworth, Georgia, please welcome Dr. Doug Depew.
Yay!
Well, Tracy, Scott, it's great to be here, and thank you for inviting me. And Janelle, too, of course.
Yeah. Thanks for being here, Doug. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
How are those horses this evening? Are they okay on the farm?
They're doing great. They're getting fed right now. I'm looking out the window, and they're right out there getting fed. So I'm in here talking to you guys.
I love it. I love it.
I have 7 of my own horses. That's 5 too many, by the way. And the reason I have so many horses is I've raised most of them from birth, like at least 5 of them from birth.
Wow.
So and I can't sell a horse that I've raised from birth. So actually, I have 3 generations. I have grandmother Robin. She's now 38 years old, which is really old for a horse.
Oh, wow.
And then I have 3 of her babies. They're now in their teens, basically. Then I have a 5-year-old, Blue.
Oh.
Yeah.
I saw the sweet cold sucking on your nose, but it looked like it was brand new, like it had just been born.
That was just a couple days old, but she's now 5 years old. It's one of those things where Facebook does where they back up memories from 5 years ago. That's what it was.
Oh,
So it got a lot of hits at that time, way back then. And so because it had a lot of hits, I guess, it got pulled back up at the 5-year anniversary.
Gotcha. I didn't even catch that it was a memory. It looked like it was like it had just happened.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, she's full size now. So
Oh man, that's got to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, sir, can you, since you've been in ortho far longer than I have, could you maybe tell us about some of the changes you've seen or the most, memorable big events that have happened over these, 30 years you've been in it and now going into
Yeah.
your fourth decade here.
Well, you make me feel old,
Congratulations,
Tracy.
first of all.
No, thank you. Thank you. It has been 30 years this month. So
Wow.
as you said, going into my fourth decade, I guess is correct. So, but anyway, a lot of changes, the obvious ones are, of course, when I came out of school, it was tie wires were coming out. Good quality ceramic brackets were coming out. And software. When I came out, most of the practice management softwares were pretty new, and most practices didn't have it yet. A lot of people were still using paper charts, and so we've seen that come along, of course. And then, of course, we had the cone beam CTs that came out, 10 plus years ago, and of course, clear liners and the massive changes happened with clear liners over the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And all the options that we have now, and some really good options. And really, we've seen, I was talking to a patient yesterday about how even 5 years ago, I wouldn't touch some cases I touch now with clear liners. And they've become so much better and more predictable at doing things that we want to do for our patients. And if we do enough of them, we can be very comfortable addressing a lot of cases we wouldn't have 5 or 10 years ago.
Oh,
So,
I agree with that.
Yeah.
What
what
percentage of
else?
your practice at this point would you say is clear aligners?
Our practice is close to 20% clear liners, and growing all the time. We are doing a lot of in-house aligners, which again is a newer part of what's happening out there. And we have 3 printers and I think 6 scanners, I believe. And we do an awful lot of in-house aligners, and it's really awesome. For those who aren't doing it, my gosh, you're missing a great opportunity. It's just amazing. I mean, obviously, it's great for relapse cases, whether it's our own patients or somebody else's patients that they finish. The word is out there. We do it, and people come to us for quick, easy treatment. And a lot of treatments you can finish up in the time that it takes for Invisalign or one of their clear aligner labs to process the case. We can finish the case in that time because a lot of them are just super easy. 2 or 3 teeth rotating or whatever, closing out diastema, super easy. And it's very, very profitable. And you just have to be careful how you price it so that you're making enough for yourself. But I mean, it takes maybe 30 minutes of my time. I'm not making $2,000 or $4,000 on the case.
Yeah.
So it's really been really awesome and actually fun. I wish I could sit and design aligner cases all day long.
I
It's
can
fun.
totally see that.
I love working with patients, but I'm so busy with other things that sometimes patients get in the way.
Yeah. I could just see you geeking out all day.
So what would you say has been the thing that has kept you so progressive? I mean, that's like what Tracy said at the intro here that I've so respected and admired about what you've done is that, for a lot of people that we work with, I mean, they're 10 or 15 years in and they are just dug in like, it's full on calcified. And it's like they're resistant to change. And for someone to not be in for 10 or 15, but now 30 years this month and to still be so, I mean, you're on Ortho, you've got Smile Snap, like you are one of those docs who's consistently, adopting the new technology. What do you think it is about you that's caused you to do that?
You're just not afraid of change, but yeah, how can we?
I mean, you have to be willing to change and willing to look at new things. And, I like being on the cutting edge or maybe even almost on the bleeding edge. And I like to be at the front of things. And there are advantages to that. There's disadvantages too. If you're a beta tester, you get to have to deal with little flops here and there. But I really want to search for excellence in everything I do. And part of that is using the best programs, materials, and resources that are out there. And if I don't develop them, I'm going to borrow them from somebody who has.
That's fantastic.
So it's a search of excellence. I heard a phrase one time that the search for excellence is noble. The search for perfection is stupidity. So, but searching for excellence in all you do is important. But I've been pretty lucky that most things I've taken advantage of, invested in, both money and time, have paid off quite well.
I love it. I want to ask about this braces bust that you have. The first time I learned about this was at the Nexus conference, their second year. So how did it evolve? What were some pros and cons at the start? How convenient is it? Let's hear about that.
We are actually in our 3rd vehicle. I've been doing it for over 20 years. And I started off with a Chevy Astro van. And then my last vehicle I have now is a H2 Hummer.
Yeah.
And it's just a cool vehicle. I saw a need. I work and live in a bedroom community where parents commute to Atlanta to work, and them taking off time to come to see me for a retainer check just didn't make sense,
Right.
or for a simple adjustment. And so we started it, like I said, 20 plus years ago, and we went around to all the schools in our area, talked to the principals, and got them on board with it. And we had very, very little resistance. And our selling point was this: it's that we will have the kids out of school for no more than an hour and a half, and have them back in school, back in class. Whereas a parent will take a kid out for a 10 o'clock appointment, keep out the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And that was really the big selling point. And it's been really, really good. We go to over 40 schools in our area, elementary, middle, and high schools. The brace bus is on the road all the time. My goal is to keep it on the road, so that not only are we being seen at the schools, we're being seen on the road too.
Yeah, so, that's your advertisement right there.
Yeah. So our marketing person has it out there. Everybody in town knows it's available, and it's been good. The parents, we have many families where we never see the parents.
Wow.
And they come in they may come in for the exam, and then they sign a form, and we pick the kids up every 6 weeks for their appointments, and we never see the parents until treatment's over with.
Right.
And it's been really good. But I will tell you from the very beginning, and what has always been great for us and continues to be great for us, is to be super involved in your community. It says a lot when a doctor lives in their community and works in the community they live in, and is involved in things like youth sports, church, and sponsors everything and anything. And we hear so often, people hear how they heard about us. It's almost always that we're so involved in the community and giving to our community as far as helping things happen, different events and that kind of thing.
That's how you become a pillar.
Yeah.
Fun fact, Doug, my first car when I turned 16 was a Chevy Astro van. So
nice.
Which I drove for 1 month and 1 day before I got in an accident. So I didn't have it long.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Sorry, I was not sorry to let it go. It was very happy to pass it on to someone else.
Yeah. It wasn't good for your image or something?
It was traumatic. It's like one of those where it's like, I really don't want to ever drive this, but yet I need a car of some kind. So
amazing you found a wife.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm curious, Dr. Depew, tell me, with these 2 locations, do you have any associates? I mean, I know that your son is up and coming. But do you have any associates that you're working with? And if so, like, at what point did you bring them on?
Well, actually, Tracy, I have 3 locations.
Oh, you have 3 locations now. Oh, gosh.
Yeah,
okay.
I have 3 locations.
Okay, I'm going to fire my creative director who's supposed to research these things.
Hey, the website said Ackworth and Kennesaw. That's what I saw. I don't.
So actually, Tracy, we have 3 locations. I picked up a 3rd one last year. Actually, you know what? Gosh, it's been 2 years. Holy smokes.
Time flies.
Wow.
2 years ago in April, from a doctor who unfortunately passed away suddenly. And we went in there and offered to help keep the practice going until they found a buyer, and they didn't find a buyer. So I'd been there 2 or 3 months, 1 day a week, and the executor approached me, so I wanted to buy it, and I said no. And a couple weeks later, he approached me again and said, "Do you want to buy it?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Make me an offer." And I, in my head, real quickly, kind of figured out how much all the ancient equipment cost. It was 20 years old, how much it would cost to buy the ancient equipment and a couple of new Mac computers. And I made him an offer. He took it, and I bought the practice.
That's awesome.
So I told him I'm not going to buy the patient charts because I had a lot of things to do to get things back on track with the patients. And so I was able to buy the practice and really turn it around and really grow it. We've in 2 years we've tripled production.
Wow.
In the practice, and we're working at 2 days a week. I have an associate who primarily works there, and we did brand it separately because it's in Atlanta, and I wanted to have Atlanta in the name for marketing purposes. So it's called Atlanta Orthodontic Arts, and but it's doing fine. And,
see, that's why I didn't find it, because it was on a different website.
Yes,
so,
okay.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
The
like
branding
that.
was so good.
I like that name, though.
And I borrowed that or stole it with permission from Austin Orthodontic Arts.
Oh, very nice.
Dr. Jaime and Shaloma in Austin, Texas. So the Atlanta office is very close to the new Atlanta Braves ballpark, and it's in the shadows almost. And so we cater to a different clientele down there. A lot of adults. I do incognito braces too. Oh. So that was really kind of the reason we thought about doing it, was because of incognito, and since then we're doing a lot more clear liners than incognito. But that was kind of the intent. It's an adult practice primarily. It's kind of the opposite of other practices. It's instead of, our other practices are, 20 to 30% adults, and this one's just the opposite. It's 80% adults. So.
Wow. Well, yeah. I know you mentioned it a little bit, but one of the things that we learned from you over dinner, I think a couple months ago, is that your son is actually finishing up orthodontic education and looking to transition, pass the baton to the next generation. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Fantastic.
How exciting is that?
That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ryan, my son, he's my youngest. We have 3 kids. He's my youngest, and he, as a high schooler, worked in the practice quite a bit. And sterilization and taking impressions and that kind of thing, and in the lab, he did a lot of the lab work for us as a teenager, and then he went off to college and didn't work in the practice very much. And about his second or third year of college, he told us he wanted to be an orthodontist, and that just made me so happy. And what's really cool too is in his his junior year of college, he called me up in the springtime and he says, "Dad, I want to work in the office again this summer." Aww. And I said, "Well, of course you can." And he goes, "No, Dad, I don't want to do spacers and take pictures and impressions. I want to sit down and treat patients. I want to put on braces and stuff." And so I told him, I said, "Ryan, if you want to do that, you have to take the whole entire Trapezio course before you come home."
I love that idea. That's a great idea.
And so while he was in school, the last couple months of school, he took all 14 lessons of the level 1 course, and at the airport on the way home, he took the final exam, and of course passed with flying colors. And he came, and this is a testament to how good Trapezio lessons do at preparing people. He came into our office on day 1 out of school, wearing scrubs, sat down, and treated patients.
Wow. With
no coaching. Well, I'll say very little coaching. He might have been a little slow, but he caught on really quick. And so Trapezio courses take the learning curve and really condense it down. So you're not training someone for months and months and months. You can train in about 6 to 8 weeks.
Collapse those time frames. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And he had a good role model. I mean, his own father had been modeling this for him, so this is great.
But we are so excited to have him join the practice, and I'm sure he will be my boss before long. And I'm totally okay with that.
Oh, well, we got it on recording, so.
Oh man.
And then, as busy as you are, I was so impressed to hear that you've also managed to author a book during all this as well. Yes. So please tell us about that for a second.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes. So, a lot of the ideas we have are not original ideas. We borrow them from other people, right? And so, I have some good friends who have written books in orthodontics or about orthodontics for their patients. Stuart Frost, John Graham, Jamie Reynolds. You guys know all those folks, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And after seeing that and listening to a fellow named Anna Whitty, who wrote a book called, I got it right here, called Lead the Field. Let's see, there it is.
There.
Lead the Field. And he basically talks about authority marketing and to put yourself out there as an authority. And so, people like Stuart and John and Jamie, they're an authority in our industry, but not necessarily in their own backyard. And so to be able to show patients that you've written a book about orthodontics and what it's all about, what it can do for you and your family, puts you out there as an authority. And so I finished my book. It took me about 6 to 8 months to write the book.
Wow.
I did have helpers with it. You don't do it all by yourself. And when you're all done, you design a cover for it. So this is my book and the cover. And you see the 3 patients on there are my patients. And so we talk a lot about cosmetics in there and that kind of thing. We talk about phase 1 treatment. Orthodontics from A to Z. from a perspective that moms and parents and adult patients will want to learn about.
And understand. Yeah.
And we've got such great feedback from it. Parents, when they walk in the exam room and see that book, they're super impressed that I wrote the book on orthodontics.
They know they're in the right place.
Yeah. And then it absolutely has helped convert cases. No.
Oh yeah, I
doubt
can market the
about
heck
it.
out of that.
Yeah,
Totally.
for sure.
Yeah.
You're the academic director at Trapezio. How did you start working there?
I'll give you the short version of it. I started practice, like I said, 30 years ago, and I was in an area where I moved my practice to a more residential area. So we were growing really fast, and we were very involved in the community. So the word got out that we were here and available, and we were growing so fast. I was hiring somebody every time I turned around. I'm hiring somebody new and having to train them. And I found out there was not really good training resources out there. And so one day I had one of those light bulb moments, where wow, it hit you. And I was sitting there working on it. Actually, I was walking in the clinic, helping the assistants. And I'm standing there and look over at chair number 5 over here, and my new assistant who'd been with me for a couple of weeks was working on my wife's best friend's daughter, and I was terrified that she'd slip and hurt somebody with a scaler.
Yeah.
And then the light bulb went off and said, "This is not right." Here we are, healthcare workers with no formal training, no standardized training. Something has to be done. And so I spent the next 2 years developing a curriculum. I got licensed as a vocational school, and we put a curriculum out there. And we trained over 300 assistants in Atlanta in about 2 years.
Wow.
And then we franchised it. We were actually in 7 different cities around the country for a few years. And then I just brought it all back in-house and went online with it. And that's been incredible. So Trapezio now is pretty much an online course. We have clients all over the world. We're required by law in a couple of countries, including New Zealand, and I've got to visit there a few times. So it's actually written into the dental code, into the dental laws in New Zealand that we're required by law.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're required in a couple of states in the U.S. and some areas of Australia as well. So it's been really, really good, and it's been a great experience. It's been fun for sure.
And it's the only one that's AAO endorsed. I want to also add that it's
absolutely AAO endorsed, also endorsed by the New Zealand Association as well. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah, and for those who don't
Great
know, that's
story.
how we first connected was last year at AAO when Doug approached us about retooling the TC Academy for Trapezio. And
Selfish plug.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put that in there.
If you need to train your TC.
I'll plug it for you.
Yeah.
It's not selfish on my part. Yeah, we met at the AAO last year when we actually had an in-person meeting.
Yeah.
And with the idea and thought of taking Tracy's material and making it more available for those who can't come to her in-person class. And it's been incredible. We're also working on a bunch of new material right now. The COVID shutdown gave us the opportunity to dig our heels in, and we've got some new software that designs some quizzes that are built into the lessons themselves, and some really cool new material we have out there now and coming out over the next few months. And so we're excited to be sharing that with everyone as well.
So are you still going to be okay if I put a picture, like a cardboard cutout of myself at the next big meeting next to the Trapezio booth? Come get a picture with Tracy?
Tracy, you are officially part of Trapezio, so you're welcome to do that.
Yes.
Oh, yes. That is going to be awesome.
Oh, man, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, it's time. Hit it, Janelle.
I'm going to introduce to you, Doug Depew, the lightning round. I don't
Oh my
know if you
gosh.
know much about it, but what it consists of is you giving a 20-minute speech. There is no mistakes allowed. It is full recording. There is no retakes. Are you ready? We're going to go put the 20 minutes on the clock.
Oh my gosh, go for it.
Just kidding. The lightning round is a few minutes, fun, quick questions, quick answers. Are you ready?
Hang on a minute, get a drink.
Yeah, you should.
Okay, you get hydrated for the lightning round.
The lightning round!
Okay, if you could choose any celebrity or author to have dinner with, who would it be?
Well, believe it or not, Shania Twain.
I love that. Oh my gosh. What a good pick.
I've
That is cute.
been a fan since her early days, and we're both Canadian too. So
Oh,
Man, I feel like a woman right now.
I feel like a woman.
I did not expect that.
Yeah, I mean, I could say somebody like I think my favorite actor would be Kevin Costner.
Okay.
Good
Yeah.
choice.
I like it. Good answer.
Yeah.
If you could have one other career besides orthodontist, horse trainer, author, or creative director, or academic director of Trapezio, what would that career be?
I would love to be a high school teacher.
Oh.
What subject?
What subject? Yeah.
Probably history would be fun.
I was a history minor in college. Good choice. Support that.
All right.
Good choice. Okay. Who would be in your posse? If you could pick anybody to be in your posse, and you can have any celebrity, and it could be from any timeline.
Three people. For
sorry.
For your entourage.
Only 3. Yeah, we have to have a number.
Off at a reasonable
yeah,
number.
we have to have a reasonable number here. But who would be in your posse? Who would be in your entourage?
Well, of course, Shania Twain,
Yes, I would do.
Kevin Costner, and Ronald Reagan.
Nice.
Yes.
All right.
I love it.
Clutch.
Good choices. All right, go Janelle.
If you could pick any time period to go back into, what time period would you travel back to?
All right. Well, being that I love horses and Western stuff, I love the Rocky Mountains. I would go into the probably the 1880 time frame in the Rocky Mountains, perhaps Wyoming or Northern Colorado.
Interesting.
Good choice.
Do you have any hidden talents?
Wow. Okay. Well, I'll tell you one rare thing hardly anybody knows is, again, this goes back to my Western cowboy roots. I actually spent 5 summers during my high school and early college years working on a ranch in Alberta, south of Calgary.
Nice.
And one summer, so y'all have heard of the Calgary Stampede, correct?
Yeah.
Heard of it.
The biggest rodeo in the world, right?
Yeah.
And just south of Calgary, about 2 hours south of Calgary, is a town called Raymond, Alberta. That's where my family is. Raymond has a stampede 2 weeks before the Calgary Stampede, and it's kind of the qualifying rodeo for the Calgary Stampede. And one summer I was probably 17, 18 years old, and I got a call from my uncle who said, Doug, one of our rodeo clowns got injured. Do you want to be a rodeo clown? And so
that's great.
I jumped on it.
I'm a retired certified clown. I've never been a rodeo clown.
So I've only ever seen one picture. Is a little proof from the photographer, a little 30mm proof. That's all I've ever seen of it. But it did happen. I still have the pants. I still have the suspenders and the wig, and I jumped in the barrels and all that. I've never been so scared in my life.
I could imagine. That is scary.
And, I work with cows and cattle and all that, but having a bull come steaming at you, snorting and pawing and stuff. So the rodeo is going along, and the announcer says, "And now it's time for the bull riding, and we have our 3 clowns down there, and there's this guy, and Doug Depew, and thanks for joining us today, and here comes bull number 1, and this big black huge dirty nasty slimy bull comes out spinning around, and holy smokes, I was scared, and but I'm here to talk about it, and that's good.
Yeah.
My other hidden talent that I don't do much anymore is as a teenager I did a lot of magic, and so I still have a magic kit, and I'll pull things out once in a while, but it was always fun.
I know magic. We got to do this next time we're at some conference together.
All right.
Ortho Pioneers might be the next one. I will bring my magic kit.
There you go.
Oh, that's so cool.
What would you say is the single biggest change you've seen in 30 years of orthodontics?
Ooh.
I would have to say, I've already mentioned a couple, but I think would be 3D printing.
Yeah.
Game changer.
Yep.
All right, Doug. Of your grandchildren, which one is your favorite?
Oh my gosh. Well, I love them all. I love them all equally for different reasons.
How many do you have?
We have 4. We have my son who lives near us has 3 of them, and they're 7 years old, 4 years old, and almost 2. Yeah. And then my son Ryan, who's the one in ortho school, he has a little girl who's 2 years old as well.
Oh,
So.
sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, thank you so much for doing this. I absolutely appreciate you. You really are a mentor to me, and I love it when we get to hang out. And I can't wait to the next meeting when we actually get to hang out all day long at our sponsor booths together, and
Yeah.
it'll be great.
Sure miss you guys in Atlanta this year. The meeting went virtual instead of being live in person. We're looking forward to hosting you here.
Yeah, we were looking forward to it too. But hopefully, Corona willing, we'll be in Orthopreneurs in Austin here in October. So.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Depew, for spending time with us and letting us pick your brain for a little bit. And I really love hearing about what all you're into, because you're into a lot of things. And I think that that's just great for all of us out here in ortho land, that, you know, that, yeah, we go to the office every day, but there's so much to this industry, and I love that you've always been at the forefront and able to just adapt and change and keep moving forward and trying new things and never being afraid of it. So thanks for sharing it with us.
Well, thanks for having me, Tracy and Scott and Janelle. It's been fun. It's been a pleasure. It's been a great time chit-chatting with you guys.
Yeah, your associates, your team members, they're so lucky to have you, as are your grandchildren. So thanks for your time today.
Thanks, Janelle.
All right, well, that will do it for episode 7 of Straight Talk. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this, please tell a friend. We'll see you guys next week. Take care.
See you next week.
Bye, everyone.